All right. So I just wanted to do 5 little tips that I learned are very beneficial for learning at the beginning of the game that helps you throughout your entire playthrough. And the first thing is when you very first start the game, you'll be at a watchtower, whether it be over here or down here, the first light watchtower, one of these two starting areas. I don't know if there's any other starting areas, but one of these starting areas, you will have a campfire and you will get a quest for this item right here to make a skinning knife. When you get this quest, go ahead and collect the resources you need to also make the sickle, the axe, and the pickaxe. So that when you get the quest to come to the city for the first time, make sure that the ground that you are covering between the watchtower and the city, that you are mining and harvesting and skinning, maybe take 45 minutes to an hour to kind of just do all of that before you get to this first city for the first time, because then you can go to all of these and you can start upgrading these right off the bat before you leave the city again to start doing quests. You have a very good potential of getting uncommon weapons and armors, and I shouldn't say getting, but making them from all of these different areas, because you from the very beginning started upgrading these. And I'm sure that for another half an hour or so, if I were to go out and collect skins and harvest and stuff like that, I could probably come back in here and have all uncommons before I head out to start doing the quests again. That's just one little thing, might be very beneficial, so that you can start collecting and leveling up as soon as possible to start getting better weapons and gear. And this carries over for the entirety of the game, like the earlier the better. And then when you get these weapons for the very first time, I suggest you go into your character menu and pay attention to your weapon mastery and your attributes, which I'll get to the attributes in a minute. But let's say you're doing an elementalist build, like you want to just be a mage that uses fire and ice gauntlet, like I'm trying to do on this second character of mine. You go in here and you upgrade this a few times so that you can, mess around with it a little bit. I suggest doing that as soon as possible. You unlock this ability, you mess around and get a feel for it for a couple minutes, but then you respec, and then you get this ability, respec. Go on and just keep doing that until you have gotten a pretty thorough feel for all of these abilities and the ability combinations, because even though you went into this game wanting to do like a mage build, you may not necessarily do this because you do not like the feel of the fire staff. You don't want to use it, you don't like it, and you go and experiment with these other weapons, like let's say you get a hatchet. You like these abilities a lot more because for you it feels way more comfortable and a lot easier to use than the fire staff. So you may change your mind and not go for a mage build, and you want to do that as early as possible so that you're not ending up being level 30 or so, and you just now are starting to upgrade the hatchet because you just now found out that you like the hatchet better than the build that you were going before, but now you're getting destroyed by a lot of enemies because you're just now starting to upgrade the hatchet. So find what's most comfortable here for you and your play style and upgrade those as soon as possible. And what you can also do is, if you don't know what combination you want to use yet and you're later in level, then you use the one weapon that you really like and the one weapon you really find comfortable. Use that weapon, and when you first go to attack an enemy, use the weaker weapon that you haven't yet leveled up yet. Hit that enemy with one or two shots of whatever that weaker weapon is, and then switch to your more powerful and more comfortable weapon and finish off that enemy, because you're going to get experience towards that weaker weapon as well, as long as you hit that enemy at least once. So then you can level that up but not get completely wrecked because you're playing with a brand new set of weapons. Now, with the attributes, what I personally have found to be the best way of dealing with this is at the beginning of your playthrough, level the Constitution up to 50 so you can get all health consumables 20% stronger and plus 10% logging speed. Me personally, I find cutting down trees kind of boring, so that'll be an increase into logging speed. It'll make it a little bit faster, which will be really nice. But the main thing is the max health. That's the most important thing, and why I tell everybody to upgrade Constitution to 50 first, aside from the fact that this will always be at 50 and it won't go down depending on what kind of armor or weapons that you have. You will have this max health always high, so that while you are experimenting with these weapons and you're trying to find which ones are most comfortable, you can also withstand the amount of damage that you're going to be taking from enemies, and you won't die quite so easily because you are messing around or trying to level up a new weapon. So the combination of having one powerful weapon with one weak weapon and having the Constitution up right off the bat, both of those together are going to really give you an advantage for surviving your experiments with these weapons. So I always recommend, put this up to 50. And on top of that, you have buffs. So I have an item on my character right now that gives me an item buff of 8. Now, if I find a more powerful item and I replace that, that buff may go away completely, and it might be an 8 buff on dexterity because of that new item. I don't have to worry about that with Constitution. My Constitution will always be at 50. I will always have this perk because it's at 50. And I always will have that extra amount of health to keep me alive while I'm messing around and experimenting with these weapons. So the next one, food is better than potions. And what I mean by that is you use a potion, you have to wait 29 seconds before you can use a potion again. Whereas food, you literally have to wait 1 second. No joke. Use it, use it, use it, and you get way more of an advantage doing that way. So I suggest when you come here, make sure that you're using the cooking and you're getting a lot of rations before you start heading out and doing these quests. So then, because you have a bunch of rations, you're able to heal yourself the amount that you really need to, and you can use up the rations however much you need without worrying about running out of healing items. So the combination of having the healing items, having your Constitution to 50, and having that max health with that Constitution, and experimenting with the weapons, all that stuff together, you do not have to worry about dying nearly as easily when you're experimenting with the weapons. So they kind of just form all together with each other. And because they form all together with each other, this is just a good set of rules to have for the entirety of your playthrough. The next thing is this repair all feature. There's this repair all down here. I don't know how many people are aware of this, but this is extremely helpful. Like, all of your stuff is broken, or, well, you'll never have a situation where all of your stuff is broken, but one of your things gets broken. This one's down halfway, this one's down most of the way. You can just hit repair all and repair all of these. And when you hit repair all, you do want to keep in mind that this uses coin to repair it, but it also uses repair parts. So you have a weapon that you don't want, then you just salvage it and you get repair parts for that. The better thing to use to repair stuff would be your repair kits, but they are extremely hard to use. And what I mean is there are tier 1, 2, 3, 4 repair kits, and so you're going to need to keep an eye on what repair kits you have and what items you have on your character. Like, if this is a level 3, I can only use a level 3 repair kit to repair this. This is a level 2, I can only use a level 2 repair kit, so on and so forth. It becomes very complicated, especially later in the game when you have, you know, level 3s, level 4s, level 5s, and you need these specific repair kits, and they're a little bit of a headache to make and use and all that stuff. So it's like, overall, it's just better to just spend a few coin and repair all with your repair parts, and you don't have to worry about having anything more than your coin and your repair parts. Not to say that you shouldn't eventually work on getting some repair kits so that you can save some coin here and there, but the better thing to do is to just use the repair all, especially starting out. Just be aware that this exists and it is going to help you, because regardless, if you are using what I told you about the Constitution and you have a bunch of rations, that stuff does not help your armor. Your armor will degrade as it takes damage, so you really are going to want to pay attention and use this. Now, the last thing is select all quests. Select all the quests that you can get in this area, but ignore the quests if you have to. And what I mean by that is, I have personally found that some of the side quests start to feel a bit repetitious. The faction quests, sometimes they start to feel repetitious. Sometimes the town quests start to feel repetitious. But the town quests are probably the most fun for me out of all of them, because there is such a wide variety of quests that you could get for town quests. And you know, when you have like a quest for 20 bait for your fishing, the very next quest could be something completely different. You could get 20, you know, skins from an animal, and then, oh, just go and investigate this area. You know, like, there's a big variety of quests. And so the ones that you come to find that are the most boring, once you start to feel bored doing that quest, say side quests are just feeling a little bit too boring to you, you switch over to the board quests, or you switch over to the town quests, or you start farming the faction quests to get your faction points and stuff. You know, there's a big variety of different things that you can do to try and keep yourself from getting burnt out. And on top of that, you could be harvesting. You know, you get a quest, you go from the city to go do the quest. While you're heading to the quest, cut down some trees, kill some animals and skin them, harvest some hemp and stuff like that, you know, like on the way to the quest. So you're not getting quite as burnt out as quickly as you normally would. And yeah, so that's really all I have to say. It's something, you know, these things will help you early on. You can do them right at the beginning of the game, within like your first half hour to an hour. And these things will also help you even when you're level 60. If you have these things in mind, you can get advantages sooner than you normally would. So I hope this is informative and helpful. I've spent like 4 hours now trying to record this the correct way. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Please leave a like if you liked it. And a like if it helped you. Consider leaving a comment. I would really appreciate it. Let me know if this actually did help you. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, later.